this is going to be a non-spoiler review of Trade Me by Courtney Milan, and I do have things I want to talk about that are spoilery, but not enough to do a book discussion, so I think there will be spoilers in my book review if you want to check that out on Goodreads or my blog, and maybe check them out there. I don't know, that was redundant. So, Trade Me is a new adult novel, and it is Courtney Milan's first new adult novel. She usually writes historical romance, but it's my first Courtney Milan, so whatever. It's the first in a series. Right now I think there's only going to be three books. I don't know if there's going to be, she has plans for there to be more or whatnot. The basic synopsis of this story is that it follows two characters, Tina, who is Chinese American, and I talked about this in my wrap up when I finished this book, confused about the whole if she's just Chinese or Chinese American and what the difference is, because I'm that ignorant. And she is kind of, well, she is poor, let's not lie, and she puts a lot of pressure on herself to take care of her family. And then there is Blake, who is a billionaire and has had everything his whole life, and they end up getting in an argument in a college class one day, and she tells him that he couldn't handle her life, and he says, okay, let's trade. And so he is going to live in her apartment and work her hours and live on her salary because he's trying to escape some things in his life, and she is going to be doing his job at his father's tech company, which is kind of like an Apple, Microsoft kind of a thing, and she is going to make his money, which is kind of like how much he spends in a month. So it's supposed to be a 3-month-long deal, so she'll get about $50,000, and to her, that's a crap ton of money. I don't know about you, but to me, that's a crap ton of money. If somebody walked up to me and offered me 50 grand, I would take it. So it's that, and then they end up realizing that there's more in each other's lives than they thought, and the whole time there's this like chemistry between them that they're both trying to avoid, but especially Tina, because she is afraid of getting hurt. And it's just them coming together and dealing with all of these things. Yes. And I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. I do have some issues, but I believe the third book in the series is going to revisit these characters, so I'm kind of don't care about my issues because I assume they'll be addressed in that book. Story mainly follows two characters, Tina and Blake, like I already said. And Tina, it's amazing to see, obviously, a diverse heroine, and she is an immigrant. She moved here when she was like 6, I think, 6 or 7. Her parents were escaping China. They were seeking asylum for persecution, so it's not even just like, you know, just normal fun immigrant stories, because that's a thing. They had a rough life, and her mom tries to like help other people get asylum and get citizenship, so there is kind of this like immigration thread running through, but it's not like immigration. It's not trying to like shove immigration or immigration reform or anything like that down your throat, don't worry. But I really, really liked her. I connected with her thought process. I feel like we think a lot alike and have similar thoughts on things. She is a little intense. I think she could very easily annoy some people, but she didn't bother me, probably because we have a lot of the same things in common, which they may be negative things, but we have them in common. Then there's Blake, and I was a little afraid of him. I'm not a huge fan of the billionaire trope, but I guess neither is Courtney Milan, so that's always a plus. And he's not your typical rich guy or even guy for new adult. He's pretty funny. He's basically a nice guy. He has this really weird yet loving relationship with his dad, which is really nice. I love how he approaches his feelings. Like, in a lot of ways, he's more open with how he feels about things than Tina is, which is a little different, obviously, because, you know, men don't cry and don't have feelings, which it does talk about that sometimes, and he does keep some things hidden. Like, there's a fairly big story point that he keeps hidden, but I would say he's more open than she is. The writing, it is told in dual POV, which I really enjoyed and thought was well executed, and I can't put my finger on it, but this book immediately sucked me in. I immediately clicked with the writing, and it really made me want to check out more Courtney Milan. I'm not going to immediately because I have books I need to read already, and I'm not just gonna like spiral out of control here. I will say that this book deals with some pretty serious topics. Obviously, it deals with some immigration issues. It deals with like socioeconomic things. It deals with some other pretty important things that are spoilery, so I won't address them. But they're not, in my mind, they're not really triggers or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. What, a new adult book without sexual assault? Woo! I actually the whole time thought that was going on and was like, but no. But at the same time, and I think a lot of new adult does deal with some pretty intense topics, but it didn't read like a traditional new adult to me. And I don't know if that's because Courtney Milan comes from historical romance or what, but for some reason it read different. And it, just like with how I can't explain why I liked her writing so much, I can't explain what the difference is to me, but I will say the plot is primarily a romance. There are other things going on. Both of the characters are dealing with some things individually, but this story is a romance. And she even says that in the like author notes, that she addresses a pretty important topic throughout the story, but that this book isn't about that. It's about their romance. I thought that there was a lot of chemistry between Blake and Tina, but not in that like over the top kind of way. Like it felt very real and natural and not just like this like burning flame that was gonna like extinguish really fast, but like this like subtle attraction, if that makes sense. And I loved their interactions. They played off each other really well. They have things in common, but enough things that are different, and they kind of like foil each other appropriately, but aren't complete opposites. I know I said a few times that it deals with some important things, and I think it does, but it's not melodramatic. See me playing with my hair. It's not over the top and soap opera-y melodramatic in my opinion. So last, like always, the question is, would I recommend it? And the answer is yeah. Like most romances in new adults, I'm gonna say if you like a good romance, I would recommend it. I think it was a beautifully written story. I love the characters. I wish we got a little bit more on the side characters and a little bit more resolution to some story points, but like I said before, I'm pretty sure the third book will revisit them, so it doesn't bother me right now. Plus you have a multicultural heroine, and also her best friend Maria, and she will be the protagonist, the heroine of the next book, is transgender, which I've never read a book about a transgender character. I even don't know that much about transgender, which I feel like I should be a little ashamed of, but it's just something I've never actively looked into. It's never directly impacted my life. Not that that's an excuse to like not be knowledgeable of things, but yeah, so it's nice to have that kind of diversity in a story, and it's kind of only brushed over in this story, like in this book, because it's not Maria's story, but I'm sure we'll get more into it in the next one, and I believe the hero of the next book is Chinese American as well. But I definitely want to keep reading the series. I'm really sad that only this one is out so far. I wish there was more, and I cannot wait to spend more time with these characters, all of them, including Maria. So excited to spend more time with her and get to know her more, because she seems like a hoot. So, I mean, clearly she has some drama in her past, but seems like a fun and exciting person. That is my review of Trade Me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. No spoilers, please. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!